Hey there, this is Santi. Welcome to the podcast. For those of you watching the video version, hey, this is Santi. I have a podcast on Stoic Philosophy and creativity. And for those of you who are coming back from the podcast, there's a video version, so check it out in the description. Today we're going to be talking about Joker. So, the film 2019. There won't be spoilers in here. It's more about the character of Joker, which we all know either from comics or from previous films. So don't worry, I highly encourage you to watch it. But if not, feel free to watch this. I won't spoil anything. Other than the fact that Joker has a difficult life and yeah, nothing you don't probably know already. So yeah, first I would like to know, I'm gonna analyze this film from a different point of view. I think most people will discuss the ethics of Joker, or maybe what's going on in the character's mind. What I would like to do in here is discuss, well, the ethics of Joker, but also analyze it from a point of view of Stoic philosophy. So if you're not familiar with Stoicism, maybe you're just watching this video on YouTube, feel free to message me or go to the previous episodes on the podcast to check some of it out. Also, I just released a newsletter, which is pretty cool. I'll talk more about that later, but feel free to subscribe if you want to know more about this philosophy, which I'll be talking about in this episode. But yeah, if you're familiar with it, if you're coming back from the podcast, I think you might find this interesting, analyzing a film from a Stoic point of view. This is something I would really enjoy to do more of, especially because, yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by Stoic philosophy, but I also studied filmmaking in the university, so yeah, if that's something you would like to see more of, I'd love to discuss films from a philosophical point of view and, you know, maybe analyze some of the theory behind it and some of the stuff that I might be able to bring up and things like that. But anyway, let's just get started. So it's good and evil, right? It's good versus evil. It's in every film. We see it all the time. Like, it's a fight between good and evil. But the thing is that we know Joker as a villain. We know him as the antagonist of Batman, and we know that he tends to be the you know, like a really messed up guy with a potentially a really dark story that we never know of. And this film is, well, without giving too much away, like, we all know that he has a dark origin story, and he's his own villain, or maybe the circumstances he faces are the antagonists in his life. So what I would like to discuss is from Stoic philosophers' point of view. What would a Stoic say about a character like this that gives into the darkness? And I also want to compare it versus Aristotle. So Aristotle's theory of ethics and what it takes to live a good life, and maybe how the Stoics and Aristotle would differ a little bit. So I did some research, and there's a conversation between Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, and Aristotle in history. It was a really old history book, and the conversation goes something like this. It goes like, Epictetus says, "Hey man, did you watch Joker?" And Aristotle said, "Yeah, I've seen it 4 times, man. Damn, that guy went through some tough shit. I like how we empathize with him and understand his motivations." Epictetus then says, "Nah, dude, it's messed up. Super and virtuous. He definitely could have chosen to overcome his suffering." Aristotle then replies, "No, man, apart from the mental illness and some spoilers I don't want to give away because Marcus hasn't seen it, it would be nearly impossible for him to overcome all of that shit." Epictetus says, "I disagree, dude, but we'll talk about it properly once Marcus watches it." Marcus says, yeah, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, said in this book, "Yeah, guys, no spoilers. Sorry, I haven't had time to watch it yet. I've been busy running an empire and stuff." So yeah, I took this from Life of the Eminent Philosophers, a really cool book, and the biography of philosophers of all time. So yeah, this is legit. But either way, so going back to what the Stoic perspective is, it would be how Epictetus and Aristotle would discuss this thing. It would be kind of like the Stoic perspective says that if your life, actually I have the quote right here, it's, "If your choices are beautiful, so too will your life be." So according to Stoics, and this is different to Aristotle because he's less dramatic, but a Stoic perspective would be, if you're able to make good choices, it doesn't matter how much darkness is presented in your life. In the case of Arthur, the character in Joker, the main character, he faces so much adversity, so much darkness, being treated like trash, and having a really ugly life. The Stoics would say you're still able to live a virtuous life, you're still able to make good choices and overcome that. Whereas Aristotle is less drastic with these things, whereas the Stoics would say, like, okay, you're presented with difficult challenges in your life, you should still be able to live a good life. Aristotle is less drastic. He would say before touching that subject, Aristotle would say that sometimes there are cases where if you are presented with so much suffering, with so much injustice and so much adversity in your life, such as is the case with the character of Joker, then in that case it would make sense that you struggle to live a virtuous life, to live a happy life, and to make good choices. Aristotle mentions how if someone kills your family, if everyone dies and you're left alone and you are completely depressed, like it does make sense that you're depressed, and it's probably very unlikely that you'll be able to be happy, at least for a while. So that's where I believe Epictetus and Aristotle have a debate between those points of view. So yeah, I thought that was interesting, and that made me wonder about overcoming the darkness. So is it possible? That's the question that I had when I saw Joker. Like, is it possible to go through all of that shit, to go through all of that suffering, and then overcome it at the other side, to overcome that darkness? And what came to mind was like, yes, just a couple of examples, like Maya Angelou, Viktor Frankl, Nelson Mandela. These are the three people that came to mind straight away that have gone through a lot of difficulties in their lives. Like Maya Angelou, she was raped when she was a kid. Viktor Frankl, he's the guy who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. So he was an Holocaust survivor. He was a Jewish in the middle of the Second War in the concentration camps. And Nelson Mandela spent, I believe, I don't want to say it wrong, but I think it's like 30 years in prison in a very unfair way. But Nelson Mandela practiced Stoicism. Viktor Frankl, I think he definitely has so much to do with Stoicism. And Maya Angelou, I'm not super sure, to be honest, but definitely, I mean, the way she's acted is a very stoic way to live. But yeah, I mean, these people have overcome really dark stuff, and I would say it's even worse than what Joker goes through. I would say all of them struggle more than Joker did, and they overcame it. And so these are the heroes, right? These are the heroes that we admire. And this is a quote by actually Maya Angelou that I just wanted to quote real quick is, "You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I'll rise." Maya Angelou. It's a beautiful quote of overcoming adversity, and I think it means so much more because it comes from her. I would encourage you to just do a quick search on Maya Angelou. She's a writer, a poet, and yeah, she's an inspiration. She's really cool. But yeah, so overcoming the darkness, right? So yeah, these are the questions that I had, and sorry, this is a bit small, but overcoming the darkness, is it as simple as a shift in perspective? Like, is that what we as people have to do to be able to overcome such darkness? Or is it hope that moves heroes towards overcoming the darkness? Or is it simply more of a long-lasting hope that just resides in us and moves us forward because we are so hopeful about the future that we endure any type of adversity? And what is it that drowns criminals into darkness? That is the other question that I have. Is it despair? Is it fear? Is it denial? Because it's easy to condemn criminals for their choices. We don't know what we would do in such cases. That is the thing. So when you have someone like Joker and he gives into the darkness and he gives into all these things that kind of justify making him a bad person, I don't know if it's a matter of lacking hope and lacking purpose in life, but yeah, it's really easy for us to say like, no, I would do what Mandela would do, or I would do what Maya Angelou would do, or Viktor Frankl. Like I could probably overcome those situations, or we might be in a place where we say like, I don't know how they overcome that, and we start feeling guilty because we start questioning whether we would become evil under extreme circumstances of suffering. So if we were to live a life exactly like Joker did, would we be able to overcome it, such as our heroes, such as people in history who have been able to overcome such darkness? Or would we get corrupted and become a character like the Joker? And I think we have to approach such questions with humility, because we must let go of the judgment. It's easy for us to despise these people that give into crime, or they just get corrupted because of the circumstances that they had in life. But I think we have to be humble and let go of that judgment, because we don't know what we would do. We must work on our character, like be able to work everything on our character, so that if the situation presents itself, we'll be able to overcome the chaos and emulate the heroes we admire, such as people that I just mentioned at the top of my head. But yeah, that is pretty much it. And I just hope you really enjoyed it. I just want to say that, yeah, regardless of what you're facing in life, it's really important to understand that we all have this shared humanity, right? That it doesn't matter if your life is as crazy as Joker, or I don't know, maybe overprivileged or anything. Like, we all experience the same emotions, and the problems we have in our lives grow because we think of them as big problems, right? That is a difficult thing that I probably captured in another episode much better, but the idea is we have to share this common humanity that we have, to watch the world from above, as Marcus Aurelius would say, to sit down on humanity and realize that we all have these problems. But I believe, such as the Stoics, that if our choices are beautiful, if we choose to face those problems with dignity and virtue, we'll be able to live happy lives and virtuous lives, and be able to just be proud of who we are without harming others, and being the people that we're meant to be. That's basically it. I really hope you enjoyed it. I want to just close this by saying thank you for watching or listening, whatever you're doing right now. And yeah, I'm gonna be posting every Thursday. I'm gonna keep posting. And I also have this newsletter that I mentioned briefly in the intro, and it's just me trying to combine stories. So I'm writing kind of like something as a Stoic mythology, right? If there ever was one, I realized there's not much of fiction going around Stoicism. You know how several cultures have a lot of myths around the stories of their heroes that use the virtues of that culture in order to overcome the troubles of being human. I thought it'd be really cool to just compile a story of that. So there's 3 stories so far, this volume 1, and I'm giving it away to the first people to support my work, to just subscribe to the newsletter, and I'll give it away to you. So yeah, digitally it's available there. So yeah, hope you get interested in that. That'd be really cool. Let me drink water. And yeah, let me know what you think. Feel free to contact me. My information is in the show notes, aka description. And I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Memento mori. Bye.